In 2012, of course, you joined Britain's Got Talent, the judging panel. How do you enjoy that? Are you going to come back for the next season?
It's fun. I mean, I actually really enjoyed watching the show. And I met Simon quite a few years ago, before I did the show, and he said, our show is the real life version of your show. As in, he meant, it was the real life Little Britain. And I said, I'm addicted to watching it. I love all the characters you have on the show, all the eccentric characters. And I said, me and Matt often watch it to get inspired, as we did the X Factor and all those kind of shows, because in the early stages in those shows, you get loads of very eccentric people with bizarre acts, and they are often comedy gold. And so I wasn't expecting to ever be asked to be on it. But Simon Cowell said this very curious thing to me. He says, I don't like comedy, I don't find comedians funny, but I find you funny. And I was like, that's kind of unnerving. You're basically saying you have no sense of humour, but you think I'm funny. That's weird. I'm not sure that I want to hear that. And I think I was very unsure how I was going to be on it. But the first day, I just kind of got into it. I buzzed the first person. I got over that because I thought I'm not going to be able to buzz anybody. I was winding him up and the audience were loving it. And I thought, okay, this is fine. I can do this. It's slightly strange because you're judging people on things you can't do. I can't sing. I can't dance. And I'm sort of sitting there passing judgment on people who can. But at least my role is the court jester, I suppose, so I don't have to take the whole thing too seriously. And it's quite a silly show where a dancing dog can win. It's not a matter of life and death for anybody, is it? So.
Does everyone always ask you what Simon's really like?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And actually, you were talking about sexuality, and that's the big question you get asked about him. I think he's the kind of person who has his life exactly how he wants it. If he doesn't want to get up till 4 p.m, he won't. If he wants to have, sausages and chips every night for his dinner, he will. He's one of those people he has his life exactly how he wants it. He's also, I rather like that he celebrates his success. Like most stars now are quite coy about showing necessarily their wealth or anything. Not him, he arrives in a £500,000 Rolls Royce Phantom, designer clothes, shades, long coat and everything, and he plays up to being a star. And it's actually quite refreshing because if you go back in time to a more glamorous age, maybe the 70s and 80s, see Joan Collins walking through an airport in sort of dark glasses and a fur coat. It was exciting, wasn't it? Yeah. But now everyone's like, oh, I'm just wearing my tracksuit and I've got a beanie on, and it's kind of boring. You want stars to be stars, and he is a star, even though he has no discernible talent of his own. Which is the weirdest thing, isn't it?
Got to have some talent for something.
Well, he's got a talent for spotting talent.
Yes. It's true. And the serious side of you, David, you've raised millions for sport relief, comic relief. You're a trustee of comic relief. You've swum the Channel, the River Thames. I mean, quite extraordinary challenges to take on.
Well, particularly for somebody who was famous for saying I'm a lady on television, and then they have to strip down to their Speedos. Yes. Well, it came about, I was on a trip to Ethiopia with Matt, and it was with Comic Relief. And we were just leaving on our way to the airport, and we're in the back of the van, and Kevin Carhill, who was the CEO of Comic Relief, says, is there anything you've ever fancied doing that's sporty, David? And I'm really not sporty. Like, I'm not coordinated. I can't really kick a football or anything. And said, well, I've always fancied swimming the Channel. He went, you can do it next year for sport relief. I was like, what? And I thought, he'll forget about it. I'll come back to London. It'll be a distant memory. And all of a sudden, the process has started. Here I was having a meeting with the chairman of the Channel Swimming Association. Then I was meeting a man who was a professor of sports science and a trained Olympians. And I was suddenly having all these tests. And suddenly, I was on the process of doing it. I kept on thinking at some point, someone's going to say, oh, stop. I actually had to have this heart test to see if my heart was okay to take on a challenge like that. I was actually praying there was something wrong with me, and I couldn't do it. But no, and so I got on with it, and it was a really magic achievement.
You do so much, David. So you've got your charity work, you write your books, presenter, actor. What's next? You even dressed up recently, I think, as Donald Trump for Halloween.
Yes, I did, and the nightmare became true, which is extraordinary, because it was all a big joke, wasn't it? Suddenly, it's not funny anymore; it's serious. Yes, I did dress as Donald Trump. What's next? I've got more books, more television shows, and I actually really like working. I mean, I am a very busy person,
Yes.
and I often work every day of the week, but I do really enjoy it, and I love the thrill of being creative. So as long as I can keep on doing that, I'll be happy.
David, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you so much for all your time.
Oh, thank you. It's been fantastic. Thank you.
Well, that's all we've got time for on this CNBC Conversation. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm Tanya Breyer, and thank you for watching.